Speaking of Marvel, speaking of canceled people like James Franco, talk about another canceled guy. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan
Good
Majors.
segue.
This is from Deadline. In Major
Yeah.
Entertainment 360 part ways, actor facing domestic violence allegations, and NYC. So it says here, talent manager Entertainment 360 has dropped Jonathan Majors. Several sources tell us the recent move by Majors' longtime manager comes 3 weeks after the magazine Dream star was arrested on domestic violence charges in New York City. So currently starring in Creed 3 and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Majors' departure was due to issues surrounding the actor's personal behavior. We are informed. So in case you don't know, so it was a recent case of Jonathan Majors of assaulting his girlfriend. That's still ongoing. Whether or not it happened or not happened, there's always these updating developments with the case. There was these text messages that got released by his attorney that said that this, it helps prove his innocence. And when people read those text messages, they were like, well, I don't think these text messages are conveying what you think they're conveying, because it seems like these text messages are conveying the words of a person who has been abused and they're speaking to their abuser. I'm going to read some of the text messages here. So this is from ABC7. It says, in the screenshots of the messages to Major's prompt sent by the woman. It says, she wrote here, they assured me that you won't get charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol, and when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. I'm sorry you were in this position. We will make sure nothing happens about this. She promptly wrote, and then I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. And another message sent hours later, she wrote, I reiterated how this was not an attack, that they did not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation and said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. So it kind of seemed people were saying from those messages that, it was like what an abuser would say, and trying to cover up for the person that does it. These aren't the best to really show him. And then, but there's also reports that the cab driver will testify on Major's behalf and will say that he didn't see any abuse going on. And then even when we were prepping for this show, I saw today that there's photos of her at a club afterwards. So that's further evidence, I guess, to say that nothing happened. So again, I'm not saying nothing did or didn't, but they were trying to say that about that, like Majors is using that as evidence of nothing happening. But right now he's being dropped from a lot of things, like his brand deals. He had like a series of commercials going on. He's been dropped from that. Like I said, he's been dropped from his talent agency. Yeah, so he's basically been dropped. No word yet if he's going to be released from the MCU, if they're going to go in a different direction, because he is playing their main villain for the next big arc of the MCU, which is Kang the Conqueror. That's their big villain. He's the new Thanos for the MCU. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of people just are super disappointed about this, and also, there seems like there's going to be more victims that are going to be stepping forward and saying, claiming that Majors also abused them as well. So, what are some of your thoughts here, Dusk, on this?
So I've heard this before. I've heard this kind of a situation before. I've seen people come out from the woodwork the minute that it's like, all right, first, sorry, I'm just going to be completely foundation. Anyone who is victimized and abused, you have absolutely the right to you need to go to the police. You need to have your cases heard. You need to put this through, and you need to be found in a safe place. And then there's nothing I wish more for nobody to ever be abused or be ever in a situation where they cause any physical harm, physically or emotionally or mentally. I don't want that for anyone at all. At the same time, I have seen through the last decade or so, many times where people have been accused and people become judge, jury, and executioner, and then later on find out that, oh, that was either a lie or the evidence wasn't quite what people thought it was, or things were kind of misconstrued, but the reputation is done. And those individuals either can't get work anymore or lost their job, lost their reputation. There was a lot of, and just are forever damaged. And I think when it comes to these kind of allegations, we need to be very careful. We need to make sure that we have the proper evidence to consider to consider all options and make sure that this is heading towards a proper conclusion and a proper, if things are actually being charged, there needs to be actual proper documentation, needs to be proper evidence, needs to be proper scrutiny, because in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. And we have laws to make sure that that is the case. And in this situation, like others I've seen before, I'm worried that people, especially the media, it's a circus, and they're jumping to conclusions, whether that's true or not. I mean, even with the messages that you sent, with oh, that could have been seen as a form of a victim and abuser relationship. Could be. We don't know. It's up in the air. We have no idea. Could have been vague enough where that was exactly what they said it was. I don't know. Don't have the evidence in front of me, and that's kind of where I'm at. To me, this is all just a bunch of speculation until something is fully confirmed. And right now, things are kind of being hush hush. I do think, though, there is a bit disingenuous nature with all these people immediately dropping him. And it's dropping him and just immediately dropping him regardless of the situation, regardless of the evidence, regardless of all this. And I think that's a little skeevy. I understand for some people that's until he's proven innocent, he can get them back. Well, that's not how America should operate. It should be innocent until proven guilty, until otherwise noted. Then corporation can do what they want. But these are corporations. These are agencies. Ultimately, it's their prerogative to decide what they want to decide. But I do think that has always set a dangerous precedent. And nothing feels worse than being accused of something, and if it was falsely accused, to them being left all alone. And I think that's a very dangerous place to put someone, especially when they feel cornered. Because I have also seen in cases, maybe not as big as this one, where people think that it's hopeless and they just take the ultimate exit. And then we never know what actually went down. And then there's no confirmation on anything, and we're left hypothetical.
Yeah.
I'll still always Alex. There was a music artist named Alec. I'm blanking on his last name. Alec Holwyn. He did music for famously this game called Night in the Woods, and he was accused by this girl of doing. It's a long story. He was accused of something, and he was dropped by a lot of people, and eventually he ended up committing suicide. And we never got to hear his side of the story. We never got to know how this worked out, and now we'll never know. And as far as I'm concerned, the accuser never produced much evidence, didn't produce that much, never went any further. He just got bullied into an area where all his friends left him, and he was left alone, and he already had anxiety and other issues. And then now we'll never know the truth. And as far as I'm concerned, the person that did that is a third degree murderer, but they'll never be charged because nobody cares. And I worry that sets a dangerous precedent. We need to be very careful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Rated M for immaturity had something in the chat I'm going to get to in a second.
Yeah, please.
But so the reason why, so his attorney, Major's attorney, said that one of her issues was, one of the reasons why he says it's proof that he didn't abuse her was that the woman, his girlfriend, allegedly told the police she suffered a broken finger and laceration behind her ear during the altercation. So, and then there's photos of here. This is from TMZ where she's at the club. She's using her hand, apparently, that she had the broken finger on. And so it's like, seems like nothing's wrong with her, currently here. So that's kind of one of the reasons they say is evidence that nothing happened. But all these other women are coming forward. So this is a something from Variety. Right here, this article from Variety. Let me pull this article up real quick. Up on stream. So it says Jonathan Majors prepares for a May 8th court appearance on domestic violence charges. His PR problems are about to get bigger. Sources familiar with the matter tell Variety that multiple alleged abuse victims of Majors have come forward following his March arrest and are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The prospect of more women waiting in the wings would mark a dramatic turn in the case and comes on the heels of Majors' publicist and management firm cutting ties with the embattled actor earlier this week. So if there's even more women coming forward, that seems like it's seriously damaging. That he has a pattern of behavior, and typically that is, I guess, a typical thing. If you abuse one person, it's not too far off. You've done that in your history or in your past before. It's never just a one-off incident. So if that is the case. And to get to rated info immature, to get to his comment here, he said, Ezra Miller actually got charged for things and didn't lose any agencies. As far as I know, definitely a double standard going on here. So, yes, so a similar case kind of going on is with Ezra Miller. We also, I mean, with Ezra Miller, we had video evidence of him doing different stuff, like him being, well, it's them being drunk and going around in Hawaii. I mean, he was basically like, they were basically like a hurricane, basically. I mean, it was like a natural disaster. I mean, that they were doing in Hawaii, where he was drunk and storming into people's, bedrooms and stuff. I think they told somebody's wife that, like, I'm gonna kill you and your whore slut wife or something like that. I think they said that. So it's like, so
it's a very different case.
Yeah. And then as far as I know, they haven't been dropped from anything. You know, they didn't even really give a big apology about it. I mean, I think they just went through their publicist and said, like, yeah, they have mental health issues. They're working on it. That's it. And that was kind of it. And there was no real, like, at least like
there was no recourse.
Yeah, like at least with someone like Will Smith, it's like he apologized multiple times for, slapping Chris Rock and everything like that. Like multiple statements that he made, publicly out there, like, I'm really sorry that I did this. But with Ezra Miller, it just seemed like, just like, went through a publicist and then, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of accusations and a lot of rumors that basically he has a lot of dirt on certain people, or at least he has a lot of ties to something specifically that they don't want to give in. And honestly, they don't help those rumors with the fact that basically there's been no recourse for his actions, no apology, no attempts to be better, no whatever. He just continues to be his own thing. And by the way, I did find the names. The guy who I was talking about was Alec Holokwa. And that he was the composer and co-founder of the video game Night in the Woods. And the person who accused him, Zoe Quinn, accused him of these things that he had in the past had admitted and recounted and said that he apologized, had multiple apologized for many times. And she still brought it up, had a mob basically go after him. His family, his friends ditched him, and then he just fucking ended it, and we'll never know the truth now. And that's what I worry for. There are people who we have multiple evidence of them doing bad behavior, and then nothing happens. And then we have evidence of people who it's all hearsay, and nothing is hearsay, but then they get the gavel, they get the hard hit. And I've seen this time and time again. And yeah, people like Ezra Miller, nothing's happened. There is still people missing technically. There's a woman and like a child still technically missing that haven't really showed up yet, from as far as I'm concerned. I might be wrong on that, but last I heard, like a couple of months ago, they were looking for a woman and child that supposedly stayed at his place at one point when he went missing for a little while.
Yeah,
I didn't hear any news whether that they recovered her or the kid, or they showed back up yet from the father that was asking about them.
Yeah,
I don't know. He hasn't recanted on anything. He hasn't said anything. He's been quiet. But you know what? They won't get rid of him, but they'll get rid of Henry Cavill and a bunch of and Ben Affleck, a couple other people, and they'll let them all go. But they won't get this guy who's done multiple things on camera, in audio, and has way more grounds for at least showing bad behavior. But as far as I'm concerned, until proper full evidence has fully come to light and we have an actual case, he's actually being placed under something, I think a lot of places need to cool their jets.
Yeah.
And because when multiple accusations come to somebody, that's a serious allegation.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go to somebody and say, "Hey, I have an allegation that they committed this," where's the evidence?
Yeah.
I need to see some evidence because that's a serious allegation. You're attacking somebody publicly, you're attacking their reputation, you're attacking their income, you're attacking everything that they rely on their brand, who they are. And we live in an age where one bad thing about you can ruin your entire career, your job. You can be let go from your job, you can be let go from this. Even
Yeah.
before, I mean, shit. Even when remember that YouTuber Pro Jared at one point. Remember when he was I don't know if you remember that, but Pro Jared got annihilated for being accused for a bunch of crap for like quote unquote cheating and maybe doing some stuff with like his audience in a sexual way. He eventually he was silent for like a year until finally he sought like his lawyer help, and it wasn't until like months and months later did he finally come out and he had the proper receipts to show that what they were saying was a lie. That not many people who said it. These were specific people who said it. This was a lie. This was a lie. This was a lie. But by that point, he lost so much of his reputation in the meantime that only now is he starting to kind of build himself a bit back, of his audience a bit back, and starting to be in a healthier place now. And I'm just, man, I'm tired of seeing this, you know?
Yeah.
If this is
Uh,
really real, let it come to bear, you know?
yeah. And Ready Infant Maturity, like I know there was this rumor that Ezra Miller had a cult, and
Oh, yeah.
they were like keeping underage girls and guns. Like he was like David Koresh or something. Like I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah, jeez.
like I don't know if I haven't heard any follow up to that at all.
Yeah.
So
There,
I you know
or at least the follow up I've heard has been like heavily silenced. There's been active attempts to like kind of like hush that part up, but yeah, it's still there's a lot of evidence on Ezra Miller doing some weird stuff. If nothing else, it's very questionably weird, if not bordering on the illegal or cultish. I mean, he's close to some James Jones cult shit. All he
yeah.
needs is the Kool Aid.
Yeah. And I don't mean to bring up like Ezra Miller's like, well, this person like just because this person does something doesn't mean
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
excusing, Jonathan Major. No, I mean, listen, if both people are guilty, both people are guilty, and I want to see both people,
Exactly.
dealt with. With Ezra Miller, it's a little bit more evidence because it's video evidence of them going around doing stuff like
Multiple.
like multiple video evidence of him really doing stuff. And with Jonathan Majors, I don't know. I like again, we're still developing things. We're still seeing things. Again, if multiple women are coming out, then that's even more damning. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens with that. Let's see where that goes. Let's see where that develops. To Dust's point, yeah, I mean, you see cases where sometimes it turns out, yeah, that nothing happened really. I think if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. That's what happened with like
Hmm.
Chris Hardwick. There was a situation with him
Hmm.
and his girlfriend that happened with. But I mean, I don't want to give credence to the idea that
Right.
women purposefully lie and try to I mean, the percentage of that is very small. So I don't want to give that
Right.
too much light because I mean, like when the whole Megan Stallion, Tory Lanez case, when that happened, there were so many people ready to discredit Megan, ready to discredit that whole situation, write that whole situation off.
Hmm.
And then it turns out that, yeah, she was right and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, so we'll see what happens. We'll continue with it. But we were waiting to cover it because, yeah, I just wanted to see where things were developed. And sometimes even when people are vindicated, I don't know. I still have my doubts. Like I know that recently happened with
Right.
Justin Roiland. Like
Oh yeah.
his charges, his case got dismissed, but that doesn't really mean he's innocent. His case just got
Right.
that doesn't really mean he's innocent per
It just
se.
got dismissed.
Yeah. So he wasn't like found like not guilty or anything like that. But he still has all those weird messages that he sent, underage girls. I don't know. People saying that those were fake. I don't know. I don't think that those were fake. Unless you had some other information. I didn't, but I don't think that those.
I as far I don't know honestly. That's the thing about the internet. What's true and what's not. That's getting a lot harder to figure out what's actual evidence, what's faked, what's not faked. It's getting really hard to tell now.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, yeah, so that was kind of weird. And then you had people that Justin Roiland worked with that said, yeah, that guy's a fucking asshole. He's a fucking asshole, and he would always be an asshole and do weird shit in the office and all that other stuff.
Well,
And
well, yeah, sure. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Like, he does seem like the kind of guy that easily could be, but did he commit a crime or didn't he?
yeah,
At the end of the day, that's where I come down to. Did the person commit a crime or didn't they? And if they did, then we dispense the appropriate amount of justice
yeah.
to fit the crime.
So we'll close out on this comment from Rated M for Immaturity. He says specifically it was surrounding the Native American girl. This is in reference to Ezra Miller. He
Got
was
it.
allegedly grooming since the age of 12. The cult supposedly believes she was a reincarnation of a spider god, and Ezra Miller was her prophet. What the fuck?
Okay.
I added that what the fuck to that.
No, that's
What the fuck? Okay.
and on that note,
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then he had a comment about Justin Roiland. He says Justin Roiland also hadn't worked in the actual writing room since season 2. Whether or not he did something illegal, he was definitely tough to work with. Yeah. So, yeah, like to your point, Dusk, like you said, like is he just an asshole or did he do something illegal? Did was he freaking out the female employees there? I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah. So that is Jonathan Majors.